over here with the future North Melbourne captain in Jack Ziebell. Welcome. You got the shiner over the eye, the stitches. Can we get a close-up of the stitches on the camera here? Yeah. How'd that happen last night?
It was a bit of a head clash, I think, with Liam Picken. He's got a pretty hard head, so I come off second best.
Well, if there's one player that you wouldn't want to run into his head from the Western Bulldogs, it'd be Picken, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. He's as hard as a cat's head, Picker, that's for sure.
I think we've got some vision of you coming off here with the blood rule. So there you've gone to tackle him there and just come off with the blood rule. Can you remember it, or did it shake you up at all?
No, it wasn't too bad. It just sort of got me right on the eyebrow, and obviously when you get opened up there, it starts flowing pretty nicely. Yeah, so no, it didn't really shake me up or anything. It was just probably looks a lot worse than it actually is.
You played forward a fair bit last night. It wasn't the place to be in the forward line last night at the Kangaroos, or probably at either end. There was a very low scoring game, 60-odd to 40-odd. It was hard work, wasn't it?
It was. The Bulldogs applied great pressure, something we knew coming into the game they were really good at, and I don't think our boys handled it too well in terms of the fact that we wanted to get the ball a little bit forward, a little bit more, and we probably overused the ball a little bit as well. So take nothing away from the Bulldogs. They played fantastically, and as Easton said before, it was a bit of a carbon copy from the last time we played them, I think, earlier in the year, and we won that game, and unfortunately for us, and fortunately for the Bulldogs, they got on top of us last night.
The Dogs have had their injury concerns, and again now you have yours. Jared Waite went down last night. Big Ben Brown, we saw him in the Sunday footy show, he's not sure about the scans, but it leaves the door open for Majak Daw to really come in and have a real good crack at it for the next 4 weeks.
Absolutely. We're pretty excited for Madge to be able to get an extended opportunity, and we obviously all have seen what he can do. Hopefully he can consistently put that together for us and be a really strong presence up forward. But for the injuries, excuse me, Big Benny Brown, obviously with his knees, a little bit sore, but we'll have to wait for the scans to see how he turns up, and same with Scott Thompson, so we're really not sure how they're pulled up.
It didn't look as bad as what other knee injuries did it? We see Majak Daw here. I mean, he can do some amazing things, and then you look up and you can see that he hasn't played a lot of football, but certainly he's good enough to hold a centre-half forward, full forward position down there if those other two guys are out.
Absolutely. You just look at those marks there. He's got the ability to really take big contested marks, and he's a very big physical presence as well, so he's just learning within himself how to use that, and consistently put him in the slot, he'll only get better. Now,
we love rolling back the years here on Future Stars. That's what it's all about. We've got some vision of you here playing in the TAC Cup Grand Final, the famous one where Steele Sidebottom kicked 10. Jeez, you're a bit bigger there, aren't you?
Bit of puppy fat there, and nice dude.
What can you recall these days?
Well, this day particularly, all it was the Steele Sidebottom show. He kicked 10 and had 30, and it was one of the great days ever to be played in the TAC Cup. It was quite amazing to see.
You used to play full forward down there those days, didn't you?
Yeah, I was a key forward in my junior days. I had to shed a few kilos to move up the ground, which I found a little bit difficult early on, but we got there in the end.
Tommy Rockcliffe also played in that same game. We spoke about Steele Sidebottom, but Tom Rockcliffe, he gets the ball now 40, 45 times a day, and he looks exactly the same way now, doesn't he?
Absolutely. It's actually quite funny because Rocky played the majority of his junior career as a forward. He was a bit of like a Stevie J type. He was really good use of his body, and very smart around goals, and used to keep big bags at junior level. And it's amazing to see that he's turned himself into one of the elite midfielders in the competition, which is a credit to him.
Now, Steele Sidebottom's going to come up next. He kicked 10 goals in this game. Can you remember Can you remember the dominance? I mean, you're the full forward. You're the one that's meant to be kicking 10. He was in the midfield pushing forward, and he's just kicked the lazy double figures.
Yeah, it was quite amazing actually. Every time I looked up, he had the ball and was putting one through the sticks, and I think it was a pretty big win in the end that day for the Murray Bushrangers. And yeah, every time I looked up, as you see here, is Steele putting one through. So we all know his ability. His left and right foot is outstanding, and he showed that night. And I think Shifter, you might attest to this, he might have popped himself up a few places after that game.
Probably jumped up about 10 spots, I think, with that performance. And speaking of Steele and yourself, you're both members, of course, of the NAB AFL Academy. This week, Jack, we announced the 20th intake. To think that you might have been in well and about the middle 7 or 8 years ago. You were part of it all. Joe, over its history, look at the numbers there. They speak for themselves. 9 current captains have come up through that program, 6 Rising Star winners. The last 15 number ones.
10 captains with Jack next year, probably.
Yes, we'll creep up at that number. So that's a great celebration. And we're going to test Terry Wallace here, because the coaches over the 20 years have picked the best 100 and then cut it down to 20 in 20. The best 20 players in 20 years. So we'll give you that task before the official announcement comes out at the end of August of the 20 in 20. You have a crack at that one?
Happy to have a crack.
It'll be a tough gig, I think.
And let's have a look at some of the boys. Some of the boys with you in your All-Australian, you're at under-18 level, Jack. And I just ask whether you're you're standing up on maybe a shoebox or something. Surely you're not as big as Michael Hurley that's next to you. We can see Jack Watts, Nick Natanui, he's got to be over 201 centimetres. Are you on a shoebox or what? As you've poked on the end there?
I might have some high heels on or something, but yeah, those boys were pretty big at junior level and obviously great players now as well, so it's a nice photo to look at. Now,
tell us about the future of the team, because Plough did the 2018 North Melbourne team last week, and this is how it looked. Tell us about the future, because there's a lot of people saying that North Melbourne are playing for premierships right now. Tell us who's going to fill those spots for players coming through.
We do have a few older guys on our side, but through opportunities this year, you look at a few guys that have come in terms of Taylor Garner is really quality young guy who's had a few issues with his body. Kane Turner obviously as well. You go to Trent Dumont, who's played the last few weeks, and he's going to be an absolute quality ball winner for us in the midfield. Obviously Benny Brown has had a great year. Mason Wood has shown what he can do as well. And you look at another guy called Ryan Clark in his first year, has been outstanding the last month. So there's plenty of talent there. We're looking forward to those boys developing in the future.
Now, you are a genuinely hard player. You almost knocked yourself out in Liam Picken last night. Nick Del Santo, on the other hand, is a very fine player, but he's not the hardest player I've ever seen. He's a Bendigo boy like me. You've almost knocked him out here, poor old Nicky Dell.
I actually haven't spoke to Dale after this, but I should have probably
he went
let him
down
mark
hard,
that.
didn't he? Come on,
Bit of
Dell.
carry on there from Dale, but yeah, I'm sure he'll be right.